You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and business owners and entrepreneurs get started in owning their business and running their business, and then this term marketing comes up and they think, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? There's all these worlds, social media marketing, and all these places where content, and you hear the phrase content is king, and how are we gonna brand, and what are we gonna do, and being strategic with everything, and all these buzzwords. It can be very, very overwhelming. And so our next guest is here to help problem solve all of those things and she's a full service consulting firm that specializes in content creation and the marketing and the mentorship, all the things, full service. Jenna Carlisi of Carlisi Creative. Welcome to America Trends.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you. And just before the camera started rolling, we were talking about this world and the phrase content is king. And a lot of times I think, what does that phrase even mean? But right now in the world of marketing and social media, it's very true. Content, whether it be a photo, video, reel, now there's all the different things, a story, right? What does it mean that content is king, and where can a small business even begin to start?
That's such a good question.
There's a double part.
That's such a good question. I mean, the main thing we know is that more than content even being king is that we're inundated with it. And so it's really about having targeted content. So when we say content is king, it's about, are you bringing value through your content? And are you bringing meaningful value that is assisting your target audience?
Your target audience.
Yeah, we can create reels, we can create brand videos, we can create content strategies, but what matters is, what is it that you're saying and who are you saying it to?
And why are they gonna stop their thumb scroll on you? And because it is saturated. It's just full. I sometimes I think, what am I doing even watching all this stuff? And
it's overwhelming.
It's way overwhelming.
32-second attention span and dropping by the day. So yeah, we're in a space where content is king has been a buzz sentence for so long, but it's in a different way now. The medium is what value? What are we saying and why are we saying it? Why would anybody care? And what is it doing for our audience? Yes, our business, but more importantly, our people.
Yeah, the audience, because that is, and it's not how much. It's not about, posting 7 times a week, getting something up every day or twice a day or 3 times a day, because that's just a waste of space. And organic reach is down tremendously, right? Are you noticing that?
Yeah, absolutely. As Google and YouTube changes their algorithms constantly, ad space gets purchased. We're kind of in this constant fight and battle of how much are we putting out, what keywords are we using, how are the algorithms treating us. So, I always go from a place of, is it content that matters for you and your people? And then from there, we can expand and bring the voice to all of it. But it really matters why. When I go in and people are like, hey, I need a video. I'm like, why do you need a video? And what is it for, right? And before that, what message are we trying to convey and who are you speaking to?
Well, and then that's something that I think about often is, are you trying to get, not you specifically, our businesses, as an entrepreneur, am I trying to reach the people that I already have who are already following me, who are getting my content, maybe if the algorithm serves it? Yeah. Or are we putting stuff up for potential customers for when they come to our feed? Kind of a combination of both?
It's such a good question. I get this question all the time. It is both, but what we want to do is serve the people that are already there first. If we can take the ecosystem we have and continue to pull people in through who we already are communicating with. If they're watching our stories, talk to them. If they're asking you questions, engage with them. And then from there, they share it with a friend or a new potential client checks you out to see, right? There's this vetting process. I always kind of call it like the look behind Oz's screen. You want to see what he's doing. Who's the master behind there? So there's multiple touch points, and clients, customers, communities, they're going to kind of check in with you multiple times before they buy in. Right. But every time they touch point your brand, they're going to start being served in your algorithm. So not focusing on the algorithm, but focusing on good content.
On good content. Yeah. And even if you're, you only have 100 followers at first, you still want to put relevant content that's out there. I mean, I'm assuming that's still the thing. And then what do you tell your clients? Do you say 3 times a week, or you kind of base it on who they are?
Yeah. So, it's interesting because I don't always focus on the quantity or the amount. I do believe in consistency. Consistency compounds, we know that. Yeah. But what I really believe in is, what story are we telling? Because what matters most is, is your differentiators. You know, what do you want to tell your people? What is your business? What do you do? I don't care if you're cleaning gutters or you're building amazing brand experience for luxury travel companies. You know, like there's all the range, but you have an ecosystem of people. They want to hear from you. They want to experience what you're experiencing and hear your value that you bring. And that's where it matters most. So yes, there's consistency, but each business has a different version of how much and what they need.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I know that when I go to someone's feed or their website or their YouTube channel or whatever it is, I want to know within less than a minute who they are and what they have to offer. What are they selling me?
Yeah.
And so, or what do they offer? And sometimes I can't tell. And I think, what is this business even doing? I don't know. So I feel like that is a huge part of it too, is tell us who you are.
Such a good point. And I think that's the hardest thing is people might be really good at their craft. They might be really fantastic at whatever they do, but something that, most people that are somewhat humble have a very hard time doing is talking about themselves and what they do. So part of it is diving in, and it's the self-awareness of why you do what you do and then how you want to show that to the world. So people get convoluted and they get into the details, and so we don't really have that top level viewpoint of what they do. So it's really that self-awareness piece, saying what is it that I do, how do I express that, and then from there moving.
This is a very nitpicky, targeted or niche question, but do you recommend pinning posts on Instagram, like your top 3 that show you who you are?
I mean, the thing is yes, now that we can do that, it is a good idea. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you serve? If you can have a cool image or video that's at the top of those 3 buckets, then everything else will flow. But that's how we can give people a quick hit of who we are. That's what it's gonna be on Instagram. On YouTube, you get that nice first square.
Yeah.
Like, say who you are. Do a quick sizzle reel. Speak your truth. Like, tell your value.
I want to segue into the fact that, so you not only do you work with companies on figuring the strategy out, who their brand is, what story they should tell, then you actually can implement it for them. Is that correct?
So I came from the ad agency world. I was a director of operations at an ad agency for 9 years. Cameras started becoming more accessible than just commercial sets. So I wound up starting a production company and spent a bunch of time traveling from Africa to all over the US here in different places, creating a lot of content. And it always started with a larger content strategy. So creating containers where we go, we're filling this, we're speaking to this, and then how do we filter that through? So yeah, I've been on all sides of this, and what we always get to is why and how do we execute?
Yeah.
And there's a whole range in between that. But if you're really in a place where you're authentic to what it is that you do and you're good at it, my job is to make sure that your voice is out there, and then we get it to the people that need to see it or will benefit from you.
Yeah, I guess that was then my next segue is, then when you have the video or you have the sizzle reel or whatever, then do you help them say, hey, it needs to live on the top of YouTube. You need to put it there. You're also going to break it up into 3 parts and put it in,
Everything you're saying is my most favorite part, because I cannot stand when people come in and they have a giant budget and they spend it on one video. It's like, no, how can we create a bunch of content and disseminate it on all the channels and have that continuity throughout? Sure, we can have your hero video. Yes. But let's turn it into micro content pieces so that we get it to everybody and that they then are driven back to what our main point is. So yeah, that's really important.
Because I remember hearing the term snackable content is just like you need, like you said, our attention spans are nil. So a long video about who you are, and you got to get them interested in a snackable piece first, and then if they're very interested, they'll dive into the longer video.
This is who we are. This is what we do. This is why you need us.
So if somebody wanted to hire you, they would say, okay, this is my budget. Here's my pain points, or maybe I'm rebranding or focusing, and then you would help strategize all that. And then also say, would you help them say you need a sizzle, you need this, X, Y, Z?
Absolutely, like concept to completion. And again, I usually wind up going back a step, because people usually come to me and they're like, I saw this Nike campaign. I really want to do something like this. I'm like, okay, I get why.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that? What's your budget? But also, more importantly,
Why do you want to do that? Also, P.S. They're Nike.
yeah, they're
Budget is
Nike,
through the roof, so.
right? But that's the best part of benchmarking. Like, what's your favorite car brand? What's your favorite clothing brand? We got to get an idea of who you are, right? Because it's easy to go to different production companies and they'll give you their version, right? Because like I see it, cameras are a lens. They're a lens into our world, but it's also how people perceive. So I have to be very careful about not over influencing, right? There's a piece of my creativity that they come to me for because they trust that. There's another piece that I need to tell your story, right? And like, how do I tell that in the most true way to you? And how do I do that if you don't know who you really are? So that's a bigger thing, is a lot of brands, a lot of people are really talented.
Maybe different than who you want to be, too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
That's
Again,
a whole nother story.
the whole self-awareness piece.
Yeah.
there.
Well, Jenna, thank you so much for coming here today. Your website is carlisicreative.com and Carlisi Creative on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. Marketing strategist and executive producer of Carlisi Creative. Is that you right there on the website?
That's me.
There you are.
Hello.
I love speaking with you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
Content is king, but it's also very overwhelming, so you need to be hired.
Yes.
Stick around for more America Trends right after this quick break.